going on, guys? It's your boy John, the Liquidator, coming back with another video, and it looked like Caitlin Clark has sent a message to Kelsey Mitchell that has definitely sparked some headlines. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. Everybody is having a great day today. It is Christmas Eve, and y'all already know we gotta put out some Caitlin Clark content. Now, those of you guys who might not have heard this yesterday, man, look like Kelsey Mitchell has found herself back in the headlines after some...
The internet exploded. Let's not forget the context here. Kelsey Mitchell herself has been completely embroiled in headlines, with some genuinely concerning things surfacing from her ex and from her previous social media activity, creating a very difficult public image situation for her. On top of that, reports circulating in the media were heavily, and I mean heavily, suggesting that her time with the Indiana Fever could be rapidly drawing to a close. The narrative being painted was one of significant internal turmoil, a team ready to move on from one of its veteran players.
Put out some Caitlin Clark content. Now, those of you guys who might not have heard this yesterday, man, look like Kelsey Mitchell has found herself back in the headlines after some information was released from her X and Instagram account that stated some very concerning things, man. So many people in the media has been pretty much saying that Kelsey Mitchell could be on her way out of Indiana. Now, as of right now, I don't know. I can't confirm that she gonna stay or go. One thing I can tell you, it is a whole lot of drama. Now, that is what has been going down with the Indiana Fever. Now, we know that the CBA current negotiations...
You have to understand, this wasn't just some friendly throwaway comment between teammates. No, this was a public declaration, a statement of allegiance delivered at what was arguably the most volatile and uncertain moment imaginable for Mitchell's career. The implications of this single comment are absolutely enormous, and it immediately raises some massive questions about team loyalty, the internal dynamics of the Indiana Fever, and the very future of key players who find themselves...
It is a whole lot of drama. Now, that is what has been going down with the Indiana Fever. Now, we know that the CBA current negotiations is still happening behind the scenes. There is no new deal done. They have, I believe, until January 9th to figure out this deal. That's in about 2 weeks or so. Now, with that being said, man, the Indiana Fever has definitely been kind of quiet, man. Sophie Cunningham definitely been doing her runs. We'll play a little bit of Sophie Cunningham clips here, but I want to head to the Indiana X account, man. We haven't really been over to the Fever X account in a mighty...
Just a few hours ago, the entire internet practically went into meltdown. It all started when Kelsey Mitchell, who has been facing some absolutely intense scrutiny lately, dropped this cryptic message from an Unrivaled training session accompanied by the words, "Eyes open, mouth closed." Now, that alone would have been enough to get people talking, but what happened next is what truly sent shockwaves not just through the fan base, but through the entire league. In a move nobody saw coming, Caitlin Clark responded, instantly shattering a long-held public silence and igniting an absolute firestorm of speculation that is
definitely been doing her runs. We'll play a little bit of Sophie Cunningham clips here, but I want to head to the Indiana X account, man. We haven't really been over to the Fever X account in a mighty long time here on the channel. I ain't gonna lie to you, man, and we ain't been paying attention. But I just want to see, before we get into this Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark story, what the hell has been going on with the Indiana Fever during this offseason, man. Let's read it. It says, having fun together on and off the court. The court during this All-Star weekend, Lexi Hall made us proud. In the three-point contest, Sydney Colson performed her first ever comedy set at the Fever Fest. Leah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Sydney Colson, and Kelsey.
So when Mitchell posted "eyes open, mouth closed," it felt like an incredibly direct, almost defiant response to all of these whispers and rumors. It was her way of saying she sees what's going on, and she's not going to engage with the drama, a kind of silent protest against all the background noise. For Caitlin Clark, of all people, to choose to weigh in at this precise high-stakes moment, well, it adds an almost unbelievable layer of intrigue to a situation that was already boiling over with tension.
Is this one right here? Not Paramount. but this one right here, this is Caitlin Clark sends a message ahead of Kelsey Mitchell Unrivaled debut. Caitlin Clark made sure to show her support for Kelsey Mitchell. Now, Kelsey Mitchell is scheduled to be a part of Unrivaled this year. I believe this is her first year doing Unrivaled. She didn't do it last year, so they must have threw a bag at her to get her to do it. Instead of Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark may not be playing competitive basketball this WNBA season, but she's clearly ready to cheer for her teammates as they suit up in other leagues.
The speculation surrounding Kelsey Mitchell's potential departure wasn't just some idle fan gossip. You have to understand this was a dominant narrative being pushed by credible sources. Many people in the sports media were openly and seriously discussing the very real possibility of her being on her way out of Indiana, a move that would represent a major and potentially devastating blow to the Fever's roster composition.
Caitlin Clark may not be playing competitive basketball this WNBA season, but she's clearly ready to cheer for her teammates as they suit up in other leagues. Caitlin Clark, who played just 13 games in 2025 due to multiple injuries, did not join the 3-on-3 Unrivaled League, despite reportedly being heavily pursued. There was speculation she would join in 2026 after opting not to participate in its inaugural season. However, with Caitlin Clark focusing on her recovery and getting back to 100% health.
Meanwhile, in the middle of all this chaos, the Indiana Fever organization itself has been unusually, almost unnervingly quiet. They've been navigating a murky offseason without much public fanfare at all, beyond some standard individual player updates and fan engagement posts. The team's official social media channels offered very little, if any, insight into its future plans or strategic direction, leaving fans and analysts to read between the lines.
Stated all five were Caitlin Clark teammates on the Indiana Fever team for the 2025 season. I don't know if Ari McDonald's come back, but I'm pretty sure she will, though. She was a solid backup. The one that worries me is Sydney Colson and Lexi. Y'all just got to be honest. I don't know about Lexi coming back. Sophie for sure. I think Sophie's probably up out of there too. Want to keep it real. From what I'm hearing, it ain't looking good for Sophie. Now, this past Tuesday, which was yesterday, Kelsey Mitchell shared this on her Instagram, which Kelsey Mitchell has been doing a little more. You know what I'm saying? She has definitely been a little bit more vocal.
On top of all that, the collective bargaining agreement negotiations, which reportedly had a critical January 9th deadline, are adding this whole other layer of instability that's impacting every single player's contract and every team's structure. This silent, uncertain backdrop only served to amplify the noise and the drama surrounding Mitchell, creating this incredibly tense atmosphere where every single player movement, every social media post, and every subtle interaction carried an immense and disproportionate weight.
Which was yesterday, Kelsey Mitchell shared this on her Instagram, which Kelsey Mitchell has been doing a little more. You know what I'm saying? She has definitely been a little bit more vocal online. She shared quite a few photos on her Instagram account. She shared that message the other day. So she's definitely, where is Unrivaled at this year? I don't know. I don't know if it's down in Miami again. I think it might be Philly or something like that. I don't know. But she shared photos of her at Unrivaled training. Her and KK's on the same team. So it's 1, 2, 3. She's on the team.
This cloud of uncertainty was hanging heavy over what had been a relatively quiet offseason for the team. And that quiet was already complicated by the ongoing collective bargaining agreement negotiations, a massive league-wide issue that could fundamentally reshape everything we know about player contracts and team building. Mitchell's own Instagram activity, combined with the subsequent rumors, created an incredibly volatile environment where any public statement from a teammate, especially a teammate with the global stature of about the only player who seemed to be in a stable position, was Chloe Bibby, who has been absolutely excelling while playing overseas in Australia, thriving far away from the Fever's immediate drama. This broader context of potential, widespread roster shakeups is exactly what makes Caitlin Clark's very clear, very public show of support for Mitchell even more striking, and quite possibly incredibly influential for the team's future dynamics. And it wasn't just Mitchell. Other key Fever players were also facing incredibly uncertain futures, adding to the sense of a roster on the brink of a major shakeup. Sophie Cunningham's status, for example, remained a topic of hushed discussion around the league, with persistent whispers suggesting that her departure might also be on the horizon. Lexi Hull's return was far from a guaranteed thing, and even Ari McDonald, who has been a solid backup player. What makes this even more fascinating is that Caitlin Clark herself will not be participating in the Unrivaled League, despite reports that she was heavily pursued by the organizers and widespread speculation that she would eventually join in 2026. Instead, Clark is remaining completely focused on her recovery from the multiple injuries she sustained during the grueling 2025 season, a sign of her dedication to getting back to peak form. This new league provides an incredibly high-profile stage, giving Mitchell a golden chance to shine brightly and perhaps reassert her immense value right in the middle of all this controversy. Her participation adds yet another fascinating layer of intrigue to her story, positioning her directly in the national spotlight at the exact moment when her long-term future with the Fever is at its most uncertain. You really couldn't write it. The timing is just absolutely critical. And right into this swirling maelstrom of uncertainty steps the Unrivaled League, a brand new, highly anticipated 3-on-3 competition that is offering a fresh and exciting platform for WNBA stars to showcase their skills. Kelsey Mitchell is officially slated to make her debut in this league, which is a significant move for any player, but especially for one who is potentially on the brink of leaving her current WNBA. Her notable absence from all competitive play really emphasizes her commitment to regaining 100% health, which is precisely what makes her decision to publicly step in and support Mitchell even more significant. It signals a clear shift in her focus. It shows a willingness to step into the public fray, not for her own gameplay or personal brand, but for a teammate who is facing a deeply uncertain and professionally challenging future. Yet, other key Fever teammates are joining Unrivaled, which creates this incredibly fascinating and complex dynamic. Superstars like Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and even KK are all slated to be competing right alongside Kelsey Mitchell in the new league. This collective participation certainly offers a sense of camaraderie and a united front, even as their individual futures with the Fever remain so precarious and up in the air. Of course, Aaliyah Boston also offered her own public support, commenting with the word superstar on Mitchell's post, which was a great gesture in its own right. But you have to consider Clark's unique status, a recovering, globally visible superstar who had very deliberately stayed out of all public drama up until this point. That context elevated her comment to an entirely different level of significance. However, when you step back and look at the whole picture, it's Caitlin Clark, the one who is sidelined, the one who is recovering, the one who is not playing, whose voice managed to cut through all of that noise. It's her single-line comment that has become the most powerful and talked about gesture of them all. And then, just like that, the silence was completely shattered. Caitlin Clark, an athlete who is known for her incredibly measured and careful public presence, responded directly and for all the world to see to Mitchell's cryptic eyes open, mouth closed post. Clark simply wrote, and I quote, "Let's go, Kelsey." Just 2 words. That is literally all it took to send an immediate, powerful, and absolutely undeniable message. This wasn't some elaborate, carefully worded PR defense or a lengthy, detailed explanation of the situation. It was something far more potent, a pure, unfiltered, and unapologetic show of support. When you consider the full context of Mitchell's rumored departure and all the whispers of internal team drama, the seemingly innocuous comment landed with the force of a bombshell. It signaled an unwavering allegiance that very few people, if any, truly anticipated seeing out in the open. Her intervention wasn't just a simple message of support between teammates, it was widely seen as a strategic, highly impactful endorsement delivered at an absolutely critical moment. It was a calculated move that carried far more weight than almost anything else she could have said or done. So what does Caitlin Clark's message truly signify? I mean, that is the million-dollar question that everyone is asking right now. Is it merely good sportsmanship? A simple case of one teammate having another's back? Or is it something much, much deeper than that? You could easily interpret it as a subtle yet powerful challenge to the Indiana Fever's management regarding Mitchell's future. It could be seen as a public plea for her to remain with the team, or perhaps it's a broader show of unity among the players, a message that they will stick together regardless of what the front office decides. But no matter what the original intent was, its public nature ensures that it will be dissected, debated, and analyzed for weeks to come, influencing perceptions of both Mitchell's precarious situation and Clark's emerging role as a true leader within the WNBA.